What's good? I was sitting here thinking before getting ready to go online on Lyft. I was sitting here thinking that I think that Lyft, what they should do is they should have on the passenger app, they should allow passengers somewhere on the app to be able to tip drivers through Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, or whatever the case may be. They should allow the passengers to be able to directly tip the driver. And the reason why I say that that option should be there is because a lot of drivers think that Lyft and Uber still tips. And also, I know that we get 100% of our tips, but my question that I've always wondered was, does Lyft and Uber have to pay a corporate tax on that tip? Because if they do have to pay a corporate tax on that tip, that would interfere with their ability. That would interfere with their profits. And so, which would also mean that they would end up stealing tips too. But in the same sense, when you go on the passenger app and you try to tip a driver, usually the app will minimize how much the passenger could actually tip to the driver. I've seen this before. With one of my passengers actually showed me that they were minimizing that tip that I could tip to the driver and everything. It was based off a percentage on what the ride was charged for. And I didn't know that in the beginning. And so I was just really confused at why that was. And if you look on here, I had this driver right here. When I had her, when she accepted my ride request, because I was trying to go to the to go pick up my car because it was getting new brakes went on. I messaged her and said, "Hey, driver to driver, I know they're not paying you that much for this trip, so I'm going to tip you $10." But I was only traveling 2 miles. Lyft maxed out what I could tip her at $5. However, I checked, I was doing another video, which I never did post, but I was doing another video and I was going to go on there and show how much I had tipped her and everything, which was the $5. But when I did it, when I went on, I noticed that I was able to tip her again. And so I tipped another $2 to her. Now, the thing is, I don't know if she actually really received it or not. And which would be upsetting because then that means I just put $2 more in Lyft's pocket. So as you can see right here in the top right here, I gave a $5 tip. And then you can see an additional payout right here, which was the $2, which shows right here and everything. So my total payment was $13.82, because I made sure that I tipped the driver and everything and whatnot. But again, I think that what they need to do so that they don't have drivers thinking that they're stealing tips, and it also would make things a lot more comfortable for passengers because passengers already make the assumption that they're probably stealing tips. And they've heard before that Lyft, Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, all of them at some point had stole tips from drivers. So a lot of people are uncomfortable with tipping because they don't think that the drivers are getting 100%. And people have that assumption because of what's been posted in the media. And then not only that, but some places where you tip, like at restaurants, they split the tip with the bus boys and things like that. So people have made their own assumptions. But I really do think that they should actually add a Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and so forth button so that people with one of those options, they can actually tip on there. Another thing that I really hate, I hate when, they don't want you accepting cash. That just doesn't make any sense. If anything, people would go around and steal money from the pizza man because the pizza man is delivering pizza, and 9 times out of 10, if they're paying cash to the pizza man is going to be at least carrying the change and is also going to at least be carrying whatever was tipped and paid for the pizza. So that could be 30, 40 bucks versus robbing a Lyft driver who probably isn't carrying any cash and only is carrying the cash that he made in tips, which we all know people don't tip on the app. So if somebody tried to tip us regardless, guess what? They ain't going to get much. They ain't going to get much. They're not going to get much at all. And so that's why I don't understand why these apps don't allow us to take cash and everything like that. I also don't understand why they haven't allowed so far for drivers to be able to manually enter in the amount that they want for the ride. Honestly, the way this should be working right now is that when a person requests a ride, a driver should be able to enter in a bid. So that driver looking at the miles and the distance that they're away from the passenger, they should be able to put in, okay, well, I want $8 for that. Lyft and Uber should only be able to charge a booking fee. So you get $3 or $4 to book the ride, and the passenger can either enter in the amount that they're willing to spend for the ride. Drivers will see that on the message board, and they can either choose to take that ride because of what the passenger is spending, or they can bid on that ride. They can send the passenger an amount, and the passenger can go ahead and accept that amount. If we really wanted to make this fair, we would actually do it like that. Lyft and Uber, the only thing that they would get would be just the booking fee, and then also the insurance fee. And technically, the way I see it is that if you're using the app often, passengers should have the option to pay their insurance fee on their rides once a month, or at least they should know how much they're paying in insurance. So yeah, you guys have given us the opportunity to know what the passenger is paying for a ride, and you're showing us at the same time, you're also showing us what the passenger paid for the ride and the insurance and all of that stuff or whatnot. But what doesn't make sense, you look at right here, it says estimated commercial auto insurance and other expenses. It was $1.11. $1.11. Now that passenger was only traveling like 1 mile and everything or whatnot. So that's a bad example. Let me see if I can get another example. Just somebody, 2 fares that look the same. That's going to be a lot of work to try to find 2 fares that look the same, with the same distance and everything and whatnot, and comparing what was paid in commercial auto insurance. But like I said, I don't think that just the driver should get a breakdown on how the money was spent. I think that the passenger should also get a breakdown on how the money is spent. Because looking at my receipt, it's not showing anything. You looking at the receipt right here, it just shows that the payment was $6.82. The tip was $5. Then I increased the tip to another $2, and then the total amount that was paid, and then it shows the separate tip, and then finally the total amount that was paid. But it doesn't show the passenger what was actually went to the company and what, the insurance and all this other stuff. The passenger doesn't know what they're paying for either. They don't know how much Lyft charges per mile, or what the booking. I think it does show somewhere where the booking fee is and everything and whatnot. But at the same time, the passenger doesn't really know exactly how much everything is going, what their payment is actually going towards either. I think what Lyft should do is Lyft should have in the app where it's showing what drivers were paid for the ride. Now, what that would mean is that passengers, number one reason why I don't think they do that is because they don't want the general public to know how much drivers are making on a ride, because then those same people who are booking rides would probably never drive for Lyft ever, because they found out the driver got paid $3. the passenger's like, wait, the driver took 10 minutes to get to me, and then, you know, drove me for $3. I paid $20, and the driver only got paid $3. You know, so now the passengers are gonna be like, man, that's a ripoff and everything. And what are they gonna do? They probably gonna put it in the app. Well, you know, the overcharges are to go towards your driver's bonuses and stuff like that. Now passengers are gonna be like, wait, so you charging me for some dang on bonus for drivers and everything and whatnot? Now they're not gonna tip because they're gonna be looking at stuff like that. So it's like problem after problem is gonna be stacked up on other problems. But my main thing is that I believe that they need to, number one, they need to go ahead and they need to allow passengers to tip through a third party so that they don't feel like their tip might be kept by the company instead of being paid out to the driver. Period. They should actually implement that. That would be a game changer. It probably would change things because people would feel a little bit more comfortable. Also, you know, you get the hospital trips and everything. I get people that wish that they could tip me and stuff and whatnot, but at the same time, it was booked through the hospital and everything like that. So there's no way for them to do a tip and everything. Well, I mean, why not? You know, I mean, they could allow some sort of way where they could just text the person or whatever, and the person can make a tip. But again, that's not going to be, they're not going to make a way for that. I just don't see that one happening. So I scratch that one anyway. But they could, like I said, figure out some way, but who knows. But thanks for listening. I hope you have a good one.